Salutations, my new ghoul friends. I'm Niomi Dylan Sass, resident podcaster here at UIC Radio, and I'm taking you along with me to visit something grave today. This is where hauntings feel like hellos. Welcome to season 3 of a podcast for everything in the horror genre, from movies to mythologies and mysteries. This is Summer in the Crypt. Along with us on this week's frightful journey, you have the astonishing displeasure of having a harrowing horror hostess that doubles as a historian of not only the macabre, but the queer. We can't go through Pride Month without learning about some of the individuals who pioneered the unforgiving backrooms of early Hollywood, helping get LGBTQ+ stories on the silver screen through the horror genre. We're going to dissect some of the writers and directors of Hollywood horror's biggest hits, like the Chucky franchise, Paranormal Activity films, Hellraisers, the Crypt's favorite creature feature, Frankenstein, and the Scream franchise. Ghoul friends, there will be a trigger warning at the beginning of each of my episodes, just in case today's dark discussion isn't your preferred potion. We might touch on the topics that members of the LGBTQIA+ face daily, like suicide, murder, and drug use. Ghoul, I get it if you can't listen to that right now. Just leave us a like on your way out and be sure to tune in next week for a different dark discussion. After this quick break, I'll be back to do some grave digging into some of the gayest trailblazers in horror cinema. My horror sexual spotlight, Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and some slashing and smashing of fictional spooky queer-coded characters. I'll be rolling in my coffin with excitement while you listen to this quick message from beyond. In the summer, this spell seems to always work. Thank goodness. This is She Summoning. Everybody, please welcome to the studio, me. Hey, how y'all doing? So, what have you been up to? I'm just kidding, I can't hear you, but I hope you've been doing good. I started 2 new jobs last week, which have been pretty cool. It has been exciting to finally start making money again. I was let go from my previous job at I was let go from my previous job. But, you know, we'll get into that on a different episode. Or I probably already got into it on an episode. Go to the backlogs. It's probably there. But I kind of just took like the 2-3 months off. Well, it was like a month and a half I took off because, like 2 months, yeah. It was like about 2 months I took off because I was just still in school during the semester. So I was like, F it, I'm just going to focus on the school and, deal with money later. And then once school ended, I took like a week off just to kind of be with myself for a second before trying to job hunt. And then I finally started job hunting, and it took me like 2 weeks to get a job. And then once I got 3 jobs technically. One I still have not started, and I called them like a bunch of times. They're like, "Yeah, you still have a job, but we're just waiting to hire like 1 or 2 more people so we could train you all at the same time." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I can't wait around forever, I guess." But I got another job at a movie theater. Ooh. So your girl gets free movies. And that saves me so much money. That literally saves me so much money. And then I got another job at a summer camp, but this is like at a summer camp at a private school. It was like super bougie. I'm kind of stoked that I got this job. I'm the lifeguard, which is pretty fun. I haven't started like actually the lifeguarding job. I started it yesterday. Like, we had our first day of training, and I came in early to the studio today to record this episode because we have the second day of training, and then next week is when camp starts. and it's not like a overnight camp, thankfully. But crazily enough, like when I applied to this place, I didn't even realize it was legit like 0.4 miles away from my house. So like when I finally like got, they're like, hey, we want to offer you the job. I was like, cool. I like looked up the address just out of curiosity, and I was like, oh, it's legit like not even 3 blocks away. So I'm really excited about that part too. But like we had a tour of that school yesterday, and that school is so cute. I wish I rich people are so lucky. If you're rich, you're so lucky. Give me $1. But like this school was so cute, or is so cute. Like I wish I got to go to a school like, and this is a freaking elementary school. But yeah, I wish I got to go to a school like that. They have like a whole giant gym. There's lockers everywhere. There's a basement with a pool, a 8-foot pool. It's a 20-yard pool, but it goes to 8 feet depth. And then what else they got? They got a tiny little theater in there. They got a little music room, art studio. They have classrooms, a huge playground outside. Yeah, I would literally wish I went to a school like that. If I went to a school like that, I probably would not have been a problem child. Maybe. Who knows? I think I would have been a problem. I'm a problem adult still. Other than that, I haven't really done much yet for Pride. I'm really excited. I think I have more stuff lined up towards the end of the month. I am watching Stop That Train today in theaters. Usually, yeah. It's today. I think it comes out today. If it's either today's June 12th. So if it doesn't come out today, it's coming out tomorrow. However, it's still in AMC today because AMC does like a early access, like always the day before. I don't know about other theaters. So I'm for sure going to go see that tonight. That's the new RuPaul's Drag Race movie. And it has a bunch of the queens in there. I'm super excited for that. Everyone said it was super funny, super good. Yeah, and I really it's Pride Month. We have to make sure if you're somebody who is in the LGBTQIA+, you need to literally go see this movie so it can thrive. So then there can be more films like this, and then so more people in our community can get booked and blessed and have a thriving career and not just get cast as B roles, D roles, freaking F roles. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's all. Oh, I guguess another thing that has happened this like last week. I went to the library in my city and because I needed to use the printer, and some lady literally like hit my car. You guys know those like cylinder blockades where they usually have on each little parking space, so to make sure like you don't go past your parking space. Yeah, that. So I parked like vertically on the other side of that. That's where the parking space was, and then there was a bunch of other parking spaces horizontally along the line. So imagine like a T shape, right? So my car's parked at the top of the T, and this other car, it's parked in there. I went inside the library and like went to go print something. So then when I come out, my car is literally like almost like 10 feet moved to the side, and I was like, oh my god, did my high ass like park wrong? I was like, damn. I was in the library for like 2 hours. I was like, damn, I straight left my car like that. So then I started walking closer, and I noticed there was a note on my car, and I was like, oh my god, somebody probably left me a note. It was like, you parked like an asshole, thank you. So then I went and I saw the note, and the note was like, I hit your car, I'm sorry. And then it was a phone number, and I was like, hit my car? And then of course I took like the longest route possible, and I looked around and I was like, what the heck, I don't see nothing. And then I finally got to the driver door, and yeah, the car was smacked. So this lady literally drove over the safety bumper and smacked my car so hard it moved the front of my car like 10 feet from it was. I did park straight. I wasn't high. But who knows? But no, for sure, I did park. I mean, she claimed she accepted fault and all that, and obviously it was thank God she left her number and all that. But like she literally moved my car. Like how fast could you have gone? Like the parking lot's small. Like I don't like she must have floored it like on accident or whatever. But my car is in the shop right now, and so her insurance is handling all of it, which is great. I don't have to pay nothing, which is awesome. Yeah, it was a little inconvenient. But I guess like the plus side of it is her insurance has like covered a rental car for me. And this rental car is nice. It's not even like that nice of a car, but like my car is not that nice of a car. but it gets the job done. It's a 2016. I've had it for myself maybe like 6 years now, and I've taken it from California. It's a great car. I love the car. Trust me, the car looks like I've had it for 6 years. So this car, like, this car the rental car is super nice. It has Bluetooth. My car does not have Bluetooth. The rental car, all of the windows work. My car, the windows do not work. This car has like a camera when you back up and stuff. It'll show you everything. My car does not have that. They have like sensors on the sides of the doors and stuff. Like if you accidentally like cross the line, or if there's a car that's too close, or if there's a car in your blind spot, there's a sensor that'll pop up. My car does not have that. So it'll kind of not suck, but like it'll be nice having my car fixed or whatever. But like once I have to give up this car, it's gonna suck for sure. I'm gonna be so sad. Mucho triste. And I guess the last thing, in 4 days from today, it is my birthday. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing for my birthday. I'm for sure gonna have fun. I have to work that day at the summer camp in the morning. I don't work at the movie theater at night, so I do have an opportunity to possibly do something at least at night. Totally something gay. I'm gonna go to Boys Town and like do something for sure. That sounds fun. Yeah. Are you guys ready to get into this next segment? This is Dark Discussions. So we are gonna have a Homo horror history lesson today. First thing I want to start off with, I want to address the elephant in the room. I was researching for 2 days or so, trying to get stuff down. And a lot of the people are very Caucasian. And I just think that is a bigger problem to address in the scope of we need not only more people of color creating cinema and stories and movies, but personally, people of color creating queer people of color creating more stories, and queer people of color specifically creating more horror stories, because there is plenty of queer creators, and there's plenty of creators who are people of color as well, and there's just not that many who dip their toes in. There's not too many who are queer and someone who is of color who do the horror genre for some reason. Not from what I was able to research. If y'all can drop me some people. I would love to start researching this stuff and getting more people brought to the surface, because I feel like that's what makes stuff popular, is podcast shows like this and other review shows and blogs and people that get the media talking. So we need to bring more of those artists into the media spotlight, However, with that being said, we are going to go with some really astonishing people that I found, you guys. Some of them is I've already known, but some of them were new revelations, I guess, to me. And I didn't realize that some of my favorite, it makes sense, I guess, why I connected with some of these things for so long. But I never realized that some of my favorite, just movies in general were either written by somebody who was queer, or directed by somebody who was queer, or starred somebody who later came out as queer. All right, yeah, let's do this one. All right, without further ado, the first person on the list that we are going to get into today is James Whale. So, you guys know Universal Studios horror monsters, right? He was the director of Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein and a few others. So yeah, y'all know, the people who know me personally, and the people who I guess follow some of the work that I've done, y'all know my favorite creature who has been created and that I sympathize with is the creature from Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster. He, in my opinion, was never a monster. It was poor circumstances. There was only one or two things that he did, which was just his brain is very infantile, so it's he wasn't taught any better. You know what I mean? It's not anything anything that was done at a Demolition was self-defense for him, you know. But everyone was just scared of his appearance, how he looked and all that, which makes like a lot of sense that James Whale, openly gay director at the time, was somebody who made sure that this creature was not only like scary, I guess, you know, but also real. Like, you felt bad for him. I'm not the only person that sympathizes with the creature, and for sure when it came out, I wasn't I'm a vampire. But when it came out, I'm sure there was multiple people who sympathized with the creature. Especially those who were queer back then and maybe who weren't out the closet but were familiar with James and his work and knowing he was out the closet. So, from queerportraits.com, the queer portraits in history from this website, they have a little like bio of him, and I'm gonna read it, okay? Influential English director, best known for his pioneering horror films such as Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and The Invisible Man. He was born to a working-class family in the Black Country area of England, though he would later deny his upbringing to adopt the persona of a gentleman. He discovered a love of theater in the unlikely location of a World War I prisoner of war camp, and after the war, he began working in London. His success directing the play Journey's End led him to Hollywood in 1929, and there he met the producer David Lewis. The two would remain partners for the next 23 years. Whale was honest, if not outspoken, about his homosexuality, and the fact that he and Lewis openly lived together as a couple didn't seem to hurt his burgeoning reputation or career. In 1931, that reputation was cemented when Whale made horror film history for Universal Studios with Frankenstein, starring the unknown actor Boris Karloff. It thrilled audience with its gothic atmosphere and terrifying but sympathetic villain, and shocked with the scene of a little girl being drowned, which was later heavily censored. But Whale enjoyed taking risks and always insisted on complete creative control. He worked in a number of genres, but today is mostly remembered for his somewhat campy horror, such as the archetypical The Old Dark House, a visually cunning The Invisible Man, and the acclaimed Frankenstein sequel, Bride of Frankenstein, considered better than the original and perhaps Whale's finest work. His short career came to an abrupt halt in 1937 after the failure of his war film, The Road Back. The film, which was heavily edited against his wishes to appease Nazi Germany. Whale had a difficult time finding work after that, possibly owing to homophobia, though it's difficult to tell the extent, and languished while his partner's career flourished. When Whale brought home a 25-year-old man he had met in Paris, Lewis moved out, and Whale spent much of his later life painting and hosting pool parties for young men, though he himself didn't swim. At 66, he suffered 2 strokes that left him depressed and in pain. A year later, he committed suicide by drowning himself in his pool. The death was initially ruled accidental, and Lewis, separated but still a close friend, kept Whale's suicide note a secret for the next 30 years. Though his career was brief, today Whale is starting to be recognized as not just an important genre director, but as an auteur. So if y'all don't know what auteur means, I don't either. It's okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate that he ended his own life. And it is unfortunate that he kind of like left his husband for a younger piece of ass. And I do think all of his work, though, still is important because of the fact that he was openly gay at the time. And even though his career took like a halt, I think more so it could have been due to the fact of his political views at the time, which I don't think were necessarily wrong, you know? But that's probably why he wasn't getting much work in the older days. But I mean, like, when you create the original, like, you directed the original film of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Like, you probably had money. You were so set. If you have any kin, they're probably still getting money from this. So set. All right, ghouls. Next up on the list is Clive Barker. All right. Clive Barker is not a stranger to the crypt. When I did a St. Patrick's Day like themed episode with Marissa, shout out Girly Pop, hey. We did the two movies, Rawhead Rex and Leprechaun. And Rawhead Rex was a story, and the screenplay was written by Clive Barker, but he actually hated that movie. Like, he hated the directing style. He hated how they made the monster look. He basically, there was not one thing he liked about that movie. But I didn't even know, like, when we were doing that episode, I didn't know that he was a gay man, and I totally love that. So he wrote screenplays for Underworld and Rawhead Rex and hated both of them. He wrote a series of short stories named The Books of Blood, which inspired many horror classics like Hellraiser and Candyman. Hellraiser was the first movie that he directed because he hated how directors portrayed his other two movies, Underworld and Rawhead Rex. So he's like, you know what? If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. He totally was like, all right, I'm about to do this one. And he did his big one with Hellraiser, because Hellraiser was influenced by the leather community, which he was obviously a part of. And it was a subculture inside of the queer umbrella. So they dress for like sexual activities that involve leather garments like harnesses, jackets, boots, etc. These are the sexy bears you always see at Pride and Folsom. They kind of usually have like the best bars, in my opinion. They'll have they'll have porn just on the TVs right behind the bar as you're walking in. I remember one time I went into it was Palm Springs when I lived in California. My old roommate at the time, Jada, she had a friend. I totally forgot his name. But we went to one of the bars and it was kind of super dead. And he was like, well, I know this cute place like down the street. We should go. And he did not tell us what this bar was. But we walked in and it was a leather bar. So we walked in and it is just butt cheeks everywhere. Everybody's in a jock strap, sweaty AF. There's like 10 TVs up there. They're just gay sex just straight happening all on the TVs. As soon as I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, my cheeks are so red. I was like, all right, I need a I'm thinking about it right now. My cheeks are getting red. But I was like, all right, I need a drink. If this is what we're going to do, I need a drink. But it was actually a cute time. These old dudes came and showed me and my roommate how to play pool. I mean, we already knew how to play, but old people give unsolicited advice. So they were giving us their tips and tricks and whatnot. Yeah. I think Clive Barker is an excellent writer. He is still alive today. So this is a little synopsis on his IMDb. He was born in Liverpool, England. Clive Barker is an English writer, director, and visual artist, best known for his works in the genres of horror and dark fantasy. His mother, Joan Ruby, was a painter and school welfare officer, and his father, Leonard Barker, was a personnel director for an industrial relations firm. He studied English and philosophy at the University of Liverpool. His first artistic endeavors took place while at school, where he was a part of students' theater. In the early days of his artistic career, he supported himself by working as a male prostitute. Okay, hey, shout out. In 1978, he co-founded a theater group called the Dog Company, among whose members was Doug Brady, who later went on to star in Barker's Hellraiser movie series. In 1985, he published his debut novel, The Damnation Game, and the same year he wrote his first feature movie scripts, Underworld, 1985, and Rawhead Rex, 1986. The end effect of these two movies disappointed Barker so much that he decided to adapt his prose into a movie he would direct himself, leading to the creation of Hellraiser, 1987. The movie achieved cult status and turned into a multimedia franchise, although Barker lost control over it at one point, only to regain it in 2020. In addition to his work, his literature, and movies, he is also a visual artist, often illustrating his own books, and was involved in a number of television, comic book, and visual arts projects. I think that's... I'm sex positive. I am sex worker positive. I think that sex workers should unionize, but the only reason why I don't think they should I think they need to unionize for, safety regulations, health insurance, basically an all-around easier time doing what they need to do to get the money that they need to get. And the only like down part with that is that the stupid government, that is the US of A, is going to tax the hell out of them, even though the government is probably sex workers' biggest customers. I'm just saying. And I really do want to point out that it isn't uncommon for people of the LGBTQIA to have to resort to some sort of sex work in order to make ends meet, especially back in the day when it wasn't easily accepted by not only your family, but by your community, your surroundings, your neighbors, and all of that. So you kind of get shunned. You can't get jobs places. It's hard to get jobs. They won't hire a gay person. They won't hire a trans woman. Even today, it's hard to get jobs as a trans woman, especially if you're non-passable. So there's a lot of people in our community, if you are part of the queer community, if you're not, there's a lot of people in the LGBTQIA plus community that have to resort to some sort of sex work in order to pay some of their bills, in order to not sleep on the street. There's some of them who still have to sleep on the street and do that sort of work to just live. And that's why I think I think there needs to be some sort of, I don't think it should be illegal. I think it should be protected, That's just my opinion. That's my hot take on that. And did y'all hear how eloquently I was speaking right there? Like, that's how you know I feel about it. Alrighty, y'all. Next up on the list is Don Mancini. So his work is no stranger to the Crypt. And I knew that there was he is the creator of everything Chucky period. Child's Play, all of that. The Good Guy, Tiffany, y todo también. He is the creator. So, I didn't know he was a gay guy. I did know, it makes sense, obviously, because there's, very much not only, queer-coded characters, there is queer characters in a lot of his new stuff. Some of his old stuff, John Waters was one of a feature inside of Bride of Chucky, or Seed of Chucky. It was probably Seed of Chucky. John Waters was somebody who is a queer icon, gay man icon, especially in the horror sphere. Most people know about him, which is why he's not necessarily on my list today. I'm sure we'll end up having some whole episode on some of the weird stuff he's done. But Don Mancini, he strives nowadays to make gayness casual in his work. So he really wanted to give young gay teenager horror fans characters that they can identify with, because he specifically did not have that himself growing up and really wished that he did. And I think that he has done excellent work in not only making queer characters in his work, but also kind of doing what he said, making it casual. It's not a movie that's about being gay. Being gay is just happens to be something just like their hair happens to be blonde, or their eyes happen to be brown, or their skin happens to be melanated, And I think he's done an excellent job at that. So on IMDb, it says Don Mancini was born in January 25, 1963, and he is a writer-producer best known for Seed of Chucky, Bride of Chucky, and Child's Play. So he has written or co-written every single one of the Child's Play series to date. His father worked in advertising, and his favorite song is California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. That's a good song. California dreaming on such a sunny day. In California dreaming. Or is it on such a winter's day? Yeah, I am a fan of Mr. Mancini, if you're nasty, okay? I think bravo. It's not common that somebody is able to create a slasher that can stick with audience members for decades, there's some cult classic horror movies here and there that just don't get, I guess, merchandising aspects to it, but oh my goodness, is Chucky one of the most merchandisable sellable, yeah, I guess. Chucky's one of the most sellable slashers in my opinion out there because of how funny he is. He is like the campiest slasher. I would say next one, maybe Freddy Krueger. But Chucky definitely is the funniest one to me, personally. Okay, next up on our list is somebody who has been in the media as of recently. I don't think for anything necessarily like bad. Yeah, but we'll get into it right now. Next up is Kevin Williamson. So if you guys think that name sounds familiar, it is because he is the writer and creator of the Scream franchise. So he was the writer of basically Scream 1 through 7, and I'm sure he's writing the next one already. He wrote the Scream TV series that was on, and he wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer and The Faculty, which are 2 other like 90s horror movies. Both of them are pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. I Know What You Did Last Summer has Freddie Prinze Jr. in it when he was like so young and such a stud. I mean, he's still a stud for more so a hunk now, a daddy hunk. But in the 90s, he was so cute. He is Sarah Michelle Gellar's husband. That's Daphne and Fred. That is so cute, so crazy that Daphne and Fred are actually married, and they're still married. I've been married like over 20 years. I love them. All right, so Kevin Williamson, this is the biography he has on IMDb. As a child, Williamson was fond of horror movies, especially those of Steven Spielberg. After high school, Williamson went to college for a future in acting. Though he landed very small parts on TV shows and movies, nothing had happened. Williamson moved out to LA in 1990 in hopes it would aid his career, but nothing had come up. While in LA, he took up a class at UCLA on screenwriting. There, he wrote his first script, Teaching Miss Tingle, titled as The Time, Killing Miss Tingle. After the movie was complete, Williamson ended up on the streets again looking for work. One night, while house sitting for a friend, Williamson watched a special on the Gainesville Ripper. This gave birth to what would soon be Scream. After this, he went out to Palm Springs for 3 days and wrote the script. After the grueling few months of production hell, Scream was released to the public on December 20th, 1996. This spiraled 4 sequels and a new chapter in horror film forever. So his favorite movie himself is Halloween 1978. He said that this movie is the reason he started screenwriting. In college, he wrote a 45-minute one-act play about a teenage girl being terrorized by a killer over the phone. This would later become the opening scene of Scream. Oh my god, that's so cool. One of the few screenwriters to get credited on the film posters. And since 1999, he is no longer executive producer and writer of Dawson's Creek. Oh, so he was... That's right, he was the creator of Dawson's Creek. So Kevin Williamson is somebody who was able to create a character that just freaking outstands the test of time. Ghostface is probably one of my favorite slasher period. I have not seen the new Ghostface movie. I have not seen Scream 7. I'll watch Scary Movie 6 though. So Scream 7, there was a lot of controversy against it. I think it was the production company, not necessarily Kevin Williamson. So it was the production company. I wrote an article a long time ago about it. What was the production company's name? I don't remember at the moment, but the production company wasn't a fan of Melissa Barrera's outspoken rights about her stance on Palestine, and they fired her for it and said that was the reason they fired her for it. And so Jenna Ortega, in solidarity, kind of like quit with it too. And she also had other stuff coming up in her, like she got offered other roles and stuff that was much, much better. And so she quit from the franchise. And then not only that, there is a director who is also next up on the list, who was set to direct Scream 7, and he quit because of all of this controversy against it, and this was going to be like I think I just could I don't know, like, so what's cool, so what the last movie was supposed to be, instead of whatever just came out, I don't know what came out, but what the last installment of that movie was supposed to be, so because it was supposed to be 5, 6, 7, so 6, 7, so the seventh one, Melissa Barrera's character, Sam, yeah, that's her name. Sam ends up turning into Ghostface because her sister gets killed in the beginning, and that kind of triggers her psychosis into getting revenge on the people that killed her, and she turns into Ghostface, and it's kind of like the perspective of her. Another cool alternate version of Scream that could have happened, Scream 4, which was my favorite Scream personally. That is the one with Emma Roberts when she was Ghostface, and it has Hayden Panettiere as Kirby. Love Kirby. So Scream 4 was supposed to be more and more and more. There was a version where Jill, Emma Roberts' character, did kill Sidney Prescott, and the next movie was like the rest of the movies were basically going to be somebody blackmailing her and her trying to cover up her traces, which just turn her into, like, she does become a star, she does become famous, she does become like the new Cindy Prescott, but she ends up still being Ghostface, trying to hide her dark secret of her killing her whole family and all of her friends at Woodsboro and being the only survivor. I think that would have been another great, I would have loved to see that trilogy personally. Nobody can play a better than Emma Roberts. All right, so next up on the list, a good segue. The person that was supposed to direct that Scream movie was Christopher Landon. And the reason why he is an iconic horror film director, writer, all of that fun stuff. He was the writer of Hard Eyes and all of the Paranormal Activities, basically Paranormal Activity 1, 2, 3, the marked ones, Next of Kin, and the Chronology, yeah. He directed Happy Death Day 1 and 2, and the newest movie that just came out last year, Drop, but he was set to direct Scream 7, and he dropped that movie. So, yeah, again, like, he didn't want the controversy around his name. He is actually becoming a good name for himself, in my opinion. Like, I think Hard Eyes was a pretty solid movie, and if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a sequel, so this could be, like, another one of those slasher thingies that might stand the test of time. We'll see how the sequel comes out. The first one wasn't bad. It was funny, actually. Like, in my opinion, it was one of those like horror comedies, and some of the kills were cool. And I do like the concept of Hard Eyes, like the slasher mask, and like it's cute. And we need a killer for that holiday. You know, me personally, it's hard to find spooky stuff during the time of love. So I think his contributions has been super great. And the reason why he sticks out to me is, like, I didn't know he was, like, the Paranormal Activity movies have been some of, like, the scariest movies I've watched. And I didn't know it was a gay man. I love gay people. Oh my God, I love gay people. So I didn't know it was a gay man. And one of my favorite ones, two of my favorite ones that I've watched, or not watched, I've watched all of them, but two of my favorite ones of his were, first top one is the Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. That one's super crazy. Like, they go to the Amish country and stuff, and that one was crazy. Like, the ending is crazy. Like, the underworld comes out, basically hell comes onto Earth through the Amish country and starts like freaking terrorizing everybody. Yeah, the ending to that movie is insane. Spoiler alert. And then the other one is the marked ones. I think I saw this one once or twice when it first came out, but I was much younger, and which is really cool. I'm pretty sure this is a white dude. So, but the marked ones was based in like rural Hispanic kind of like community, and it was following like, you know, some Mexicans in the hood. You know, that's where I grew up from personally. Like, it just literally looked like my tias and my cousins' apartment complex where they were getting haunted and So I thought that that was like a really good, like accurate representation. And I had no clue. Not only did a white man direct that when it came out, but a gay white man directed that, like, or not directed that, wrote that. And that's just, I think that was like snaps to you, mama. You did your research and you did that. I really enjoyed it. If you guys have not seen either of any of the Paranormal Activity movies, those are the two movies I highly recommend. All right, the last director writer up on our list is a new trans feminine, we'll say ingenue to the scene. They're not anybody new. They've been around for a few years, but their work is starting to become like more and more notable. It is Jane Schoenbrunn. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Hopefully I didn't botch it, but yeah, Jane Schoenbrunn. She directed and wrote We're All Going to the World's Fair. I Saw the TV Glow, and then the newest one that's about to come out, Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Yeah. She is making a great name for herself, so let's see. IMDb didn't have like a bio on them yet because they are still pretty new, I guess, but this one I just stopped by Wikipedia real quick, you know, good old Wikipedia. So take this information with a grain of salt on this one. So Jane Flannery was born to Jewish parents in Queens, New York in 1987. She was raised in Arsdale, New York. They are the eldest of 3 siblings. Schoenbrunn was a horror fan as a child. In 5th grade, they spent an entire month watching the entire Nightmare on Elm Street series. Growing up, they worked at a local movie theater. Schoenbrunn has mentioned being a fan of The Critic at age 8 and looking forward to Saturday night Nickelodeon every week, which they described as an escape from everyday life. They have said that they were invested emotionally in fictional relationships more than real relationships. Schoenbrunn has described himself as a trans and queer child who did not yet have the language to understand their identity when they were growing up. And this is totally valid. That's how a lot of people are nowadays. That's kind of like there's more, I guess, queer youth than there is more so queer adults, because queer adults are still coming not only to the conclusion of who they are, but they are learning the vocabulary to express how they felt their entire lives. And sometimes it takes just knowing the right word to be like, wow, that sounds like me. So I'm excited for this new movie to come out. Yeah. If you guys have not checked out any of those movies, if you are a trans person, trans femme, non-binary, trans mask, go watch these movies. I'm sure they'll speak to you more than the average horror fan. So go appreciate it. Go support. It's Pride Month. All right. So we have someone really special. We have someone really hot. Someone near and dear to my heart. My close personal friend. The horror sexual spotlight of the week. Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. So this person, the reason why she is up on this Homo horror history lesson is because this is a history lesson and it's never too late to find out what you're into or to try something new, I guess. So Cassandra Peterson was married to a man for like 25 years of her life. She has a tell-all book called Yours Cruelly, Elvira. This is where she goes over her whole entire life, where she started as a showgirl in Las Vegas. That's what she wanted to be when she was a kid, young teenager. She would beg her parents to go and do that stuff. So this is kind of like what had happened. This is her little like life story. So she saw a movie. I forgot the movie, but she saw a movie where they had showgirls in Vegas, and she was like, that's what I want to be. So she kept like practicing dance and all of that fun stuff. So one day she was on a trip with her parents and they were stopped in Las Vegas, and she begged them to, she was 17 at the time, she begged them to take her to a showgirl show. And they, were hesitant. They're like, no, you're not even old enough, blah, 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 blah. But she has a fake ID. So she after relentless begging, convinced them to let her go. And so they all went together. And so she got up, she did her makeup, she, put up her push-up bra, she put her biddies out to high heavens, and she used her fake ID and she got in. And while she was in the front row, somebody came up to her and they asked her basically, like, they said, "Hey, are like you a showgirl?" And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm caught." Well, gotta go. And they're like, "So why don't you come backstage and like talk to me real quick?" So they like asked her to like dance for her right backstage, basically audition for her right on the spot. And they're like, "Yeah, you got what it takes. So why don't you come out here, and we're about to hold auditions, and you got the part if you want it, blah blah blah." And so she begged her parents to like let her basically stay there, and she said her parents were like, no, you're not staying in Las Vegas. So they drug her back, and they made her finish high school. And once she finished high school, her parents finally agreed after relentless begging she had to sign off on her, basically, to sign off on Cassandra, Miss Elvira, to go be a showgirl at the show. And so they ended up building a number around her because of her goofiness, her genuine just dorkiness, but also mixed with just how sexy she is and unapologetically funny. And that like even heightens the sexiness of her. So they built a number around her, and like one of the reasons why she became Elvira, not necessarily one of the reasons why, but one of the reasons why she didn't stay and stick to her life as a showgirl, because that was already like her dream. She was set to be there the rest of her life. She met Elvis Presley one night, and Elvis Presley told her, "Hey, mama, you really gotta get out of here, mama." But he was basically telling her, like, don't, you're too young, you're too pretty, you look so talented, you can amount to so much more than just being the oldest showgirl in Las Vegas. And so she like ended up hanging out with him the night. They didn't have sex because he was a gentleman and she was 17. And they ended up like singing together, and he was like, "Oh wow, you got a pretty voice." So she took all of that like to heart and like went and got singing lessons, ended up getting like a singing part in a show, and from there on out kind of like had the want to do more than just be a showgirl, and that's really cool. And she ended up getting the gig of Elvira at her local TV station in LA. And that show just became a huge success, which just spearheaded her career to her movies, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Elvira, The Haunted Hills. I believe that's the sequel. She has come to guest judge on Drag Race multiple times. She's been parodied by almost every drag queen. There has been Elvira drag competitions. I know I've had relations with a drag queen that specifically impersonates Elvira. Honestly, y'all, you want to know a secret? That has been still top probably 3. Top probably 3 experiences I've had sexually. So Elvira, so another reason why she, not only is she just a queer icon in that sense, but after marrying a man or being with a man for 25 years, after having sex with hundreds of men, which she says all in her book, she ended up meeting a girl, and that is her girlfriend still. I don't think they're married. But that has been her girlfriend for, I think, over a decade. And yeah, so she identifies like bisexual. She doesn't really, I don't think that Elvira is the type of person to like label herself. Just at the moment, she is with a woman and that's who she loves, She's very that. And she never expected that. She never once thought that that was something that would happen for her, but that is something that she loves. And obviously that makes her another reason why she's just a queer icon. Because she's queer herself. Alrighty, you guys, that has been the Crypt's Homo horror history lesson. You know your ghoul loves some alliteration. So we have got to the part where we get to play one of my favorite games. Slash or smash. The rules are very simple. I will tell you an iconic horror character, and we will say whether we would slash or smash and why. So, on this week's lineup, we have some horror fictional characters, some queer coded characters in the horror sphere. So, first up, I will tell you guys how they're gay, and then I'll say whether I'm gonna slash or smash them. First up on the dossier, we have Velma from the Scoobyverse. Y'all know that's a smash. Any straight, lesbian, gay person out there, goth, them, all of them, we're gonna smash Velma. Velma is like one of the hugest sex icons in my opinion. People think it's Daphne. No, it is Velma. Especially when the human version, Scooby-Doo 2, where she gets a makeover and Daphne puts her in that orange like leather suit. Speaking of the leather community, Velma's part of the leather community, mama. Are you kidding me? Velma Dinkley is a leather mommy. So that's a smash. Not only is most people consider her like a lesbian icon in the Scooby show Mystery Incorporated, she's heavily queer coded in that show. She kind of has a thing with Hot Dog Water, and Hot Dog Water is voiced by Linda Cardellini, who played Velma. So that's kind of like a cute little circle moment. There is the Scooby-Doo movie Trick or Treat. She is openly gay in that one. She has a crush on the villain, and it literally like she literally calls the villain cute and all that. She gets like hard eyes when she looks at the girl. It's super super cute. And then inside of the show, Velma, the one that Mindy Cohen created, she is a struggling lesbian. I don't think yeah, that series deserves its own episode just from how controversial it is. And not controversial in the sense of it like it's writing, but controversial in the sense that she changed every single character. And Scooby-Doo isn't even like, the dog's not even in the show. Scooby-Doo is like a secret project. Sorry, I should never put Scooby on anything because I will go on and on. Next up on the dossier, we have Billy Loomis and Stu Macher from The Scream. And we are going to smash them both at the same time. They have been on Slash or Smash before. Last time I think I smashed one and slashed the other. This time I'm feeling the both of them, and I want to time travel to slash them though. I will still not slash them. I want to time travel to smash them though. I will still smash Matthew Lillard today. That's Stu Macher, but I would have to slash Billy Loomis's today. He's not my type anymore. Matthew Lillard can still get it. Next up on the dossier, we have Theo from The Haunting of Hill House. So, the reason why she's queer is because in the story that was written by Shirley Jackson, she was never explicitly written as a lesbian character, but the person Theo who came to the house had a companion. That's how they were described, a companion and a roommate of many years, who they were extremely fond of and did activities that most married people or people in a relationship would do. But back then, you had to disguise your relationship and use you had to use like hidden language in order to stay hidden, obviously. So being a companion was like, that was the term. That was a term, AKA term, loosely in a lot of like written documents. My companion, that's how they would identify their partner. And Theo is going to be a smash, and so Haunting a Hill House has been remade into a Netflix show, and the Netflix show was really good. Honestly, it was super good. The twist at the end is crazy. Spoiler alert: there's like a ghost that's haunting the family and stuff, and it's haunting the girl Nell the most, and she keeps throughout her whole entire life she keeps seeing this ghost, and it has this crooked neck, and when now like this house kind of like grabs a hold of you and like the spirits kind of make you do crazy and so she ends up getting drawn back to the house when she's older, and they leave and already and stuff after she's been haunted there her whole life, and she ends up hanging herself there at the house. Not Theo, but one of the daughters in the show. And So when she hangs herself, when she like falls, it's her mom. It's the spirits that kind of like trick her into hanging herself. She didn't really like commit suicide as much as like tricked into committing suicide. So when she fell and the noose broke her neck, she kind of fell into this dimension portal, and it was revealed that when she was little and as she was growing up, every time she was haunted by this entity with a crooked neck, it was actually her. Like, yeah, it was kind of crazy mind-boggling. Like that crooked neck, she got that crooked neck from being hung, so she was haunting herself the whole entire time, basically, which is crazy. However, the story's not about her. It's about Theo. Theo is a lesbian, and in the Netflix series, she is a lesbian. She's an out and about lesbian, and I really love her character. Her character is a badass. We're going to smash. Yeah. Next up is Lana Winters from American Horror Story. And we could even just say Sarah Paulson, too, because she's a lesbian herself. We're also going to smash. Sarah Paulson is one of those actresses that, like, everybody does not play about. She is phenomenal. Lana Winters was a lesbian reporter who was reporting on... What was Briarcliff? Yeah, Briarcliff Asylum. Briarcliff Asylum. Yeah, the insane asylum. That was the name of the place inside of the show, season 2. So they were doing some messed up like versions of torture basically to their patients there, and so she was trying to report on it. She ends up sneaking in, and then she gets caught, and then they admit her into the insane asylum on account that she's a lesbian. So they try to they torture her through like electric shock therapy and a bunch of shiznit to cure her lesbianism. They threaten her partner, because her partner's a school teacher. They threatened to tell like the school board about her lesbian relationship, and that would basically make her lose her job because of the time that it was. Yeah, this is a lesbian icon. She ends up taking down Briar Institution and gets her go. Smash. Next up, we're going to have Dina from the Fear Street trilogy from Netflix. So, I'm going to have to give her a slash. I liked her character. I didn't really... I like the actress. I didn't really enjoy the character. I think the actress did a good job in the first 2 movies. The third movie, the people made all of them do like ass accents, and the accent just took me out of the whole movie. It was 1966 or 1666. That was the name of the movie. So they're all supposed to be like back in the original Salem witch trials and all that. The only movie that I really liked out of that one was the 80s one, the one, or was it 70s? I don't know. It was the second one of the trilogy. That one was my favorite. That one was actually pretty scary. It had Sadie Sink in it. That one was good. That one's a smash, that movie. But Dina, she's going to get a slash for me. Specifically for 1966 or 1666. That movie was god-awful. Her accent and that was awful, which made me like no longer kind of respect the acting she did in the first 2. So yeah. We're gonna leave it like that. But the reason why she's queer, she's that character's a lesbian inside of all of the iterations, inside of all 3 of the trilogies. Each person she plays is a lesbian, which is really cool, and that's the main character. We love seeing the queer representation. Last person on the dossier today is Ellie from The Last of Us. Ellie is a open lesbian inside of the video game and inside of the TV show. Inside of the TV show, the actress that portrays her, their name is slipping my mind right now, but they are non-binary, so that is another reason why they are queer. The character's queer. We love it. We love to see it. I'm going to slash, but I'm going to tell you why, because in the apocalypse, people don't have daily showers, okay? I need somebody fresh out the shower. I'm cool with maybe like an hour or 2 after the shower, but if it's the end of the day, no. If it's the middle of the afternoon and you showered at 8 a.m., no, go take a shower. please. I just took a shower, and if you want me to take another shower, let's go take a shower together. Like, come on. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna slash. Inside of The Last of Us 2, the series, they had a whole episode where one of the characters was gay, and that, oh my god, that episode, like, I've never cried so much watching an episode, but that episode was so good. The show and the game gets a smash. Alrighty, everybody, that was Slash or Smash. We have almost dug a hole big enough to fit this topic into, but before we go, this is part of the show where we answer chilling inquiries from our Crypt keepers. Today's question is from the scariest place of all, the Instagram DMs. I'm opening Instagram. All right. This question is from @DestRuin. That is DESTRUINE. If you can recreate any movie or just a few scenes, what movie would it be? Okay, great. That's such an awesome question. And hey, how you doing? I haven't seen nobody from California in forever, but it would be so cool to see everybody, and you guys are, I miss everybody so much. But to answer your question, this is a good question. I'm gonna say I would personally liked to, like, if I had the chance, I've been saying it and it's getting a remake itself, but I personally would like a chance to remake House of Wax. House of Wax, the original one was with Vincent Price, and the sequel kind of turned, like, Vincent Price in the original one, he made himself into a wax figure, and he was the one that was, like, crazy and killing everybody. But in the new one, it was like a siblings, and one of the siblings basically was like a trans person. I kind of talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but I would love to recreate this movie, House of Wax, because the concept of it's super, super creepy, but I want to do it in the perspective of the killer. Like, I love movies like that. Like, Psycho is in the perspective of the killer, you know? There's not many movies that have the main character, the killer, POV of the killer, and that's how I would kind of take that movie, and I would roll with the, you know, kind of using the wax to form the perfect body that you wanted, in a sense. And I would totally go with the trans route, just because it also would bring more representation, not necessarily representation, but like how hard it is for some people to go through, like, you know, gender affirming surgeries, and the stuff they're willing to do in order to be who they are, even if it's in this most exaggerated sense, as like killing people and stuff. But I would, the way I would do it is kind of like, I would have the killer kidnap these people, like bodies that they wanted to emulate, and kind of turn them into Barbie dolls, in a sense, and create this whole gallery of just like people that kind of look the same, and how I would want my body to look like. And so I would kind of like go into that kind of sphere and have it through like the person's perspective, the killer's perspective, and kind of just have them have this house of horrors of people still alive, of all these hot people that look alike, and have it be hidden that, you know, it's people, and have it come out like the original one. They had real people in there, and that was like the gag, that somebody was enclosed inside of the wax. But I would kind of have like the wax statues not come to life, but like somehow there was like one of them that wasn't fully enclosed that kind of gets out, and then the slasher has to like make sure that they don't get out, you know, that. For the sake of time today, I'm going to save the other questions for next episode. Thank you so much for writing in, everybody. That was that was the Crypt questions. I'd like to thank you all for hanging out with me today. I don't have much to plug right now. Just keep on keeping on. Keep watching. All the videos are coming out on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the network. So, also, for real, go follow my Instagram at She's in the Crypt so you can see everything up to date about the Crypt collections and She's in the Crypt. I'd like to thank UIC Radio for publishing this podcast, but most importantly, I'd like to thank you, the Crypt Keepers. Thank you for digging this grave with me today, but unfortunately, the graveyard is closed. So until next time, we'll leave this episode in the crypt. Farewell and bad dreams. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at She's in the Crypt for updates about shows and upcoming guests. Follow UIC Radio at UIC Radio on Insta and subscribe to the UIC Radio YouTube channel so you won't miss a single episode every Friday. And you can also check out the other networks on the show. This podcast was created, written, and edited by Niomi Dylan Sass. Hey, and published by UIC Radio. Music by Arthur Benson, A Friendly Ghost, and sound effects from epidemicsounds.com. If you can't get enough of She's in the Crypt, you can check out my weekly blog, Crypt Collections, every Saturday morning on the website uicradio.net and find me in the blog section.